I can't think of anyone better than these three men right here to get their name put on the Walk of Fame in Hollywood. We all love Buzz. We love his interviews lately. That has to be such an honor to get their name put on the same street as all of the Hollywood actors. Neil definitely deserved a star because he made the first step for mankind on the moon. I am so proud of them. I mean, they get to be on the Hollywood Walk of Shame. I keep doing that. Fame. With all of these amazing Hollywood elite actors. It's just amazing to me. There's one more person I want to show you that's on there. Look at that. That is so cool that he's on there too with actors. I wonder if I can get on there.
Obey NASA, a cryptic message. There's a movie that was created, funded, and distributed by the government called Leave the World Behind. And it's about pretty much the end of the world. But when I search for this scene, this is the top Google image that comes up. I didn't watch this movie, but I went and watched the trailer, and he's wearing this shirt in the trailer. So in this scene, which is it? Is he wearing a blank gray shirt, or is he actually wearing the Obey shirt? Has the mainstream caught on to what we caught on to, and now has made this the top search to deflect, so when people go to cite this and check this, they'll see the first result is this. They'll say, oh, these crazy conspiracy theories, people must have just edited a photo, put that in there, and tried to make it look like they were trying to threaten us. Or is this the edited photo? I don't know. Those of you who saw the movie, you're going to have to fill me in. Which is it? Is this the edited photo? Or is this the edited photo?
Eclipse on a Flat Earth Explained.
I'm going to help you out real quick. If you search this up, it'll be the first thing you come across, okay? You click on it. And if you read this part right here, I can't see it because the comment's in the way. Flying over a flat, non-rotating Earth. Why would they need to put that in there if we are on a spinning ball? Because we're not on a spinning ball, okay? All right, then you go to the conclusion. Up here, read this. What does that say? Flying is stationary atmosphere over flat, non-rotating Earth. NASA.gov. Okay? Why is it that flat earthers know more about the globe than globers do? How is it that we know more about both sides than what you know? You say you're highly educated. What you are is highly indoctrinated. So, anyways, you can go look this up. Have a good read. Have a good night.
All right, pay attention, you delusional Dunning-Kruger donuts. If dropping something was proof of gravity, Einstein would have just dropped something and proved gravity. Then you've got the three-body problem, which is a conundrum in mathematics and astronomy where you cannot have three bodies of mass orbiting around a center point of mass. The solar system claims to have 170 moons and 8 planets, so it's a 178-body problem. Then you've got Delphic oracles from the heliocentric priesthood who admit it is impossible to detect a gravitational field by means of local experiment. Then you've got all the ridiculous assumptions of gravity, which are it forms spheres in space, creates black holes, has a separate boson responsible for the force called a graviton, attracts everything in the universe to everything else with mass, bends an invisible conceptual medium called space-time, bends light, attracts everything to the center of mass, and assumes mass exists. Also, the ISS does not orbit on a great circle route, which on a heliocentric globe religion would be the only way to orbit something using gravity. And let's not forget the cherry on top. It was invented in 1666, and Big G is 6.67. I mean, that's all just a coincidence, though. Let's not be ridiculous conspiracy theorists.
Lost in space. The adventures of globe believers who believe they are traveling around the sun at 66,666 miles per hour, even though they can't detect this movement.
This week's episode features this globe believer, Don Pettit. NASA's finest astronaut. Ahead of all of NASA's space programs, he's NASA's all-time best actor. Best astronaut ever.
I'm Don Pettit. I'm a NASA astronaut, and I'm on the International Space Station.
Give me a summary of what the mission goals are for your time on orbit and what responsibilities and jobs are going to be yours when you're up there.
Well, I'm one of the science guys, and I'm one of the repair guys. And fortunately, there's lots of science and lots of repair to do on station, so that will certainly keep us all busy.
Give me a couple of examples, if you would, of some of the human life sciences experiments that you're going to be involved with on this flight.
Well, living and working in space go along with doing science experiments in space. And so we would stretch our clothing out longer than what it was initially intended. Initially, we were to wear a pair of underwear and socks and a t-shirt for 3 days, and having no way to wash these aids in a weightless environment, then they're just discarded as rags to mop up stuff, and then finally discarded with a fiery deorbit trajectory into Earth's atmosphere. We stretched our clothing out to 8 to 10 days. And we would wait until we started to get a little rash around our waist before we change our underwear. And that was sort of our signal that says, hey, I think it's time to get a new pair of skivvies. And we did this voluntarily. We did this with a sense of humor because it was necessary in this frontier environment to preserve these resources for future crews. We had a problem on one of our spacewalks where we were trying to unfold a beam that supports some lights on the outside of space station. And this beam was folded up into its launch, for its launch state. And we were supposed to go out there. It's supposed to be a simple task where we just unfold it so it could be useful. Well, it was stuck. We couldn't get it to unfold. And we actually gave up on that spacewalk. And then we came back on another spacewalk sometime later with a solution on how we were going to unfold this beam. And what we had was a hammer. And we had gotten permission from the flight directors on the ground to get out this big honkin' hammer that we have, which we had to borrow from the Russians because they had it on the Russian side of space station. And the hammers we tend to have on the NASA side of the space station might be something that a jeweler would use to repair a watch, a very precise little dainty hammer that you could do precision pounding with. So we borrowed this Russian hammer, and we went out on our spacewalk with this big hammer, and we had permission to start beating on this piece of spaceflight hardware. And again, this is a hardware that when it's on the ground, you have to treat it with gloves on. Literally, you have to handle it with gloves. And so we were out there with this hammer beating on this stanchion, and it finally broke loose, and we were able to put it in its final and useful configuration. You have a whole series of O-rings in here, and a shaft that you rotate.
So, like on the space station, how many of these would you have?
7, because we have 7 windows.
What happens if you get a leak on that?
Then you have a leak.
You just have a leak.
And what you would do
is...
You
lose air.
Got him! Yeah, you would probably seal the whole cupola off. And then there's probably a plan. I don't know off the top of my head, but there's probably a plan. I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
When you said that just now, did it sound stupid to you?
Kind of. And I'll kind of sum it up by saying you have to have a bit of a sense of humor and allow things to change from what you originally thought they might be.
I went to the Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral and I asked them to show me the basement that they filmed the moon landing in. but it wasn't available to the public. Yes, I did visit the Kennedy Space Center, and I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on what you think about the whole thing. So first of all is the shuttle Atlantis, which, you know, looks impressive, and you get the big presentation and all of this kind of stuff about it. And this is the shuttle that they say that they've been up many times into orbit, working on the space station, and it was reusable so it could come back down. But I want to show you something. So this is the view from the back of Atlantis, and you can see the NASA logo there, and you can see that that back bit opens up supposedly when they're in orbit, and it would carry cargo and things like that. But look at this. One of the things I noticed was, look how thin that hull is. And this is the Atlantis. This is the one supposedly that they've reused, and they've had many, many shuttles, space shuttles. But I was struck at just how thin the airframe on this shuttle. I was expecting it, with all the resistance coming back through the atmosphere, to be much, much thicker than this. Now, let's talk about the moon. So here is the rocket that took them to the moon, or one of the same kind of rockets that took them to the moon. Now, look at this. This capsule on the top is where the astronauts who went to the moon would have been located. And it's like a cone shape, supposedly for re-entry, and that's the best aerodynamic shape to come back through the atmosphere. So astronauts were up here. These are sections of the rocket, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they would deploy at certain things. Moonlander, that craft that, if you believe what they showed you on the video, that craft sits at the back here. This is what the guide there told us, right? It sits at the back there. Now, what would have needed to happen in space, okay, is that there would have needed to be a separation that took place, and this whole section would have needed to turn around on a dime, okay, and then at the back, that detached moonlander would have needed then to attach to the front of this, and it would have traveled all the way to the moon like that. Then supposedly stopped at the moon. This would then detach, and the moonlander would come down to the moon. Underneath there, underneath the moonlander, was a fold-up buggy, apparently, which came out. And, you know, there's all these inconsistencies with the thing. So I personally don't believe that they did it, but it's a tall tale, right? And then supposedly they lifted off, okay, back into this section here, crawled through all of this, right? Because this is all fuel, apparently, around there. There's a crawling hatch or some central thing there, back into this hatch at the front, and then navigated their way all the way back to Earth. This then separated, and they came back down. To me, it seems like science fiction, and it seems a bit far-fetched. I personally believe that the moon landing was filmed in a Hollywood basement, just like they said in Californication, right? And I certainly don't believe that this took place. I didn't take a picture of the lander, I should have. But, you know, that kind of golden tin foil, and it was a real moon lander that was there on display, supposedly used, that they'd kind of brought down for display purposes. But it just seems a bit wacky, seems a bit flimsy. Tin foil and all of this kind of stuff, spinning around in space, attaching this onto this, and then going to the moon and back again.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up out of your sleep! 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 Wake up! 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 Wake up out of your sleep! 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 Wake up! 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 Wake up!
For those of you who don't know what this is the Mercator map. Really cool map. I really hope that people will actually go out and buy these. These maps are like 10 bucks, 15 bucks. There's a whole bunch of them, different kinds. The Gleason map, the Mercator map. You got all sorts of really amazing flat earth maps. And they're cool. In my opinion, way cooler to put one of these on your wall than to put a stupid globe on your desk. Oh, your globe. So, you know, let's learn the truth. Let's learn the truth, and let's participate in teaching other people the truth. And what is the best way to do that? Honestly, it's to have something like this hanging on your wall when people come into my house. What is that? That's the flat earth map. Makes a great conversation. I'm going to bring a couple actually to my office and hang them on my desk. So that'll be fun, because most people in there at this point already know that I'm a flat earther, and I'm turning most people in my office too every day. Someone else will say something, and you know, I get them thinking, because I am trying to bring this out to the street. Like, even in the real world, I tell my clients about this. I just woke up one of my clients, and his mind is blown. He's amazed, because it helps. What people don't understand is, especially for somebody struggling to get sober, or somebody struggling, they're struggling because they don't know the truth. They're struggling because they've been lied to. They're struggling because literally have been put in a hole. And learning the truth, you're coming out of the hole. You're being pulled out of that hole, and you're being brought back to reality. And that's what it does. The truth brought me freedom beyond my wildest imaginations, and it can do the same thing for you. So I love you all. This is for your...
It came in the mail, and y'all are opening it with me. Ooh. Smell it. Woo! Here we go.
The flat earth map dates back over 1,000 years. This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer. His name was Al-Biruni, and he lived between 973 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Eddie Alenkar. Known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo, I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more. There are many people now selling this map online, but if you could order it from my online store, I would greatly appreciate it. Visit my online store now and order one of the items. I humbly thank you.